let's save that. Control S, right? Save. Come back over here, and Control S this one for fun. And let's just say, write the two servers in this lab to a file, and then loop over the commands to execute to both servers. So you could do something like this. We'll do the same kind of thing like this. Actually, I'll grab all that. Ugh. And then it'll say echo. This will be control plane. And this one will be node 01 to servers dot text, right? And then now we'll do something like this. So watch, I'm going to do this one. Make sure that that works. Cat servers text, good, boom. Then we say for servers in, for server in cat. Oh, you know what? I can't do those backticks, guys. I got to change all those. We got to do it like this. Do that, and then cat servers dot text. Do SSH to server, and then in there say hostname, uptime, and then say done. What? Oh, because I'm not in the right lab. That makes sense. Okay, let's grab this real quick. For server, and that'll work when we're in a lab with both of them, right? And then we'll do the plane. We'll do the exec, and then we'll just drop that in there. Boom. 4 servers in that. Uptime. Good. We'll grab that from them. Good. All right. So we've got that. Maybe we've got that. Do you see how this may be useful as a systems administrator? Hit why or why not? Not sure if you're muted, Het, but you can't hear me. What, you can't hear me right now, Robodom? Let me see. I wasn't talking. No, I stopped talking for a second. I was typing. I might have been mumbling to myself, but I wasn't talking. Can you guys hear me better now? I stopped talking for a little bit there. I'm definitely talking. I wasn't talking much, though. Is it better, Robodom? I need a thumbs up. Somebody give me a thumbs up. Although, man, it's warm in my office right now, I'm telling you. Okay. Not talking much? Okay. Yeah, Robodom, if you would. Huh. Let me see. It looks like my music's still there. Do I need to reset something over here? Interesting. So YouTube has me, but not over here. Twitch said the player crashed. Now I can't. Wait, Blues fan, if you reset me though, if you reset the player, can you guys hear me better now? Anything? Here, hold on. Let me change my screens. I mean, the same audio input, so it should be the same, but hopefully it goes. It says that I'm on an ad break right now, so I don't know if that's not. I don't know if that's part of it. How about now? You guys hearing me at all? Can hear me now? Yeah. Maybe I just had to switch my screens or something. Do all the Linux, right? So I'm a high pitched on Twitch, like I sound like one of the chipmunks. That's funny. All right, I don't think that's me, but it could be me. Okay, so we did all these things. All right, so now I'm gonna lay out the difference. This is a computer science reason, if you guys care, of why a counting loop is different than a conditional loop, right? I sound like a chipmunk at first. Okay, well, that's terrible. But hopefully it's better now. So this is the main difference between a counting loop and a conditional loop. When a conditional loop starts, or you fall into a conditional loop by any means in which you get into a conditional loop, a condition may or may not ever occur, but when the loop starts, nothing knows how long that loop is going to run. There is no process in the universe that knows how long a conditional loop is going to run when it starts. There's not. It's a condition. Now, you may have set it to be infinite based on like a while true. You could set and by the way, you could understand the logic of it's going to take 5 steps, but the point is the system itself and no list that's out there knows. That's how a conditional loop works. A counting loop is always based on a list of some type. So something knows the list or the algorithm you're going to is going to get to an endpoint. There's a stop at the end, after a certain number of steps. Something knows either a file is going to end, or a sequence is going to end, or the list that you have is going to run out. In a counting loop, there is a known value of how many times that's going to happen somewhere in the universe. So those are the two. That's the major difference between a counting loop and a conditional loop. Conditional loop may never end, but nobody knows that at the start of that loop, besides the process. And anyway, so that's the difference. In a counting loop, there's a list somewhere or something, and that's the main difference between them. So we did that step, and then step 3 is well, actually, that's pretty much over here. Oh yeah, let's make sure that that's good. And then actually the last one, so this one will just be verified true. Okay, now we'll come down here, we'll make sure that one's saved good, and then we're going to edit this last one and say now that we've used some loops, we've decided we are going to create a script that uses both of the loop types to create, 100 files on both of our servers. Create a script that loops, that loops over a list of servers, logs into them, and then creates 100 files called temp file 1.1 to 100. We'll just say like that, but in Bash it's like this. Except we're not going to use that nomenclature for this. But we'll leave that like that because that's good Bash. It's a good Bash expansion, but that's not what we're doing for this. We're going to do it a different way. All right, let's grab that. I got to go fix all of these guys. I messed this up pretty bad when I started doing my conditional, because right here you can't use these in Markdown. You have to use this. The reason that is because Markdown is already using your backticks as special characters, so you can't do them like that. Let's make sure I don't have any other ones like that. Yeah, these sequences. And what we're doing is we're interpolating. We're going and executing something and dropping the value in right there. So we don't want it to break. Those ones are fine because those are just us putting values in there. This one we need the sequence like that. We need the sequence to execute like that. We need the cat to execute like that, and we need the cat to execute like that. So okay, that one's good. That one will work. And then the third one, let's make this thing out. And then the last thing we're going to do is create a script that SSHs, that connects over SSH to both servers and creates the necessary, I think I spelled necessary very wrong. Maybe not, files. Alright, so the script is going to be like this. We can do it like this. We can just say echo. We can build it like this. We'll do it live. This, bin, bash. And I've said before, bin bash is only really necessary. Let's see, Rogue Dom, you said the values you're putting after the $ are dynamic. No, the values, so real quick here. What we're putting after the $ here is it's going to execute whatever happens inside of these parentheses, and it's going to bring it and it's going to put it right there. So in the case of this up here, I said for I in, and then I counted 5 numbers. So each time it stepped through the loop, it just stepped, right? And then here I did the same thing. I said for dessert in, and I gave 3 desserts. But when we came down to here, if you were just to go to a Linux box and type sequence 1000, just sequence 1000, it would go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It would be individual lines all the way down till you had 1,000 lines. So we're capturing that and we're putting it right there. Instead of me going, I could have done this. Right? But you guys didn't want to see me do that for 1,000, right? That would have been insane. So this is how we make the system do our counting for us, or our creation of our counting loops, as it were. Now I could sequence over this, but what really is kind of valuable is to be able to do it over a list of system, like stuff like this, or like, or over, in this case, the servers that we have. So we've got the servers text now, and once we have that servers text, we should be able to, you know what, I'm going to throw that into root servers text, and then I'm going to call cat root servers text, so I'm using an exact one so that it's the same on the next one no matter what happens. So over here we say echo bin bash, and then now I'm going to execute a for loop like we just did earlier. I'm going to say for server in $this cat root servers dot text, right? And then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to say do, and you can indent. Bash doesn't actually care almost anything you do, but if you want it on one line, you have to use those colons like we were doing. If you those just represent to bash a new line character. So if you do it like this with a new line character, you don't need to worry about it. I'm going to say SSH to $server, and then when I get in the server, now I'm going to say for over here in that server now, I'm going to say for I in. I'm going to do my interpolation in there of sequence, and what did I say, 100? Yep. And then after that, I'm going to say do touch temp file $I done, right? And then I'm done looping over those, so I'm going to say done out here, and that's our whole script. That's really all you need for this one. So let's make sure that works. There's, oh, by the way, I could have echoed this a different way. I could have done the cat to end a file and all that stuff, but I find that sometimes when you do stuff like that, it adds more questions than it's worth. So I'm going to, echo that into that. Oh, I need to put that somewhere, right? So root we'll just call that root I don't know, file create .sh, something like that. We can't run it yet, so we got to do a chmod 755 on it. What? There's something wrong. More file create. What do I have wrong here? Oh. So guys, if you're going to do that, it may try to actually execute the thing as you put it in there. So there's a thing you have to do for that. So I need to do single quotes. That was my fault. If you don't use single quotes, the system thinks you're trying to interpolate it in real time, which will cause a problem. I may then have to here use double quotes, or I could escape the quotes, but I'll just do double quotes for now, just to save myself the trouble. And then I'll do this over to root. What do I call that thing over here? File create.sh. Yep. Let's grab this right over the top of it. Boom. Paste. Go. More. Root. File. Create. There. Now that looks right, and now we run it. What? Oh, well, it's not going to work in this environment because we're in the wrong environment, right? But as soon as I publish this lab, we'll be able to go and execute, and it'll be fine. We'll see it. We'll see it work. We were doing it in a different lab to test it, and the lab only has the one server. All right, that's fine. So if this works, you can see the files in both locations with this loop. So this loop will hit both of those servers, and we can do it like this. We can say I'm putting it on one just to see that you guys can still do the old one if you want. This is not the way I would do this in the real world, but for servers in control plane known O1 do SSH $server. Let's do server. It's easier to think about it as a single variable, right? Do SSH server, and over there now we're going to say ls temp file asterisk, right? And then done. And then we'll close that up. So we just did that. Oops, we can do that like that. Yeah, done like that. And that should work then over that. And then we'll say do you see the output you expected? Why or why not? Okay, so we save that. And then if we've saved all that, then what we should be able to do is come up here to, so we've done all this stuff. Now the finish says, look at you learning Linux. You executed conditional and counting loops, understand when to use each, and then deployed them in a script. For more information, click here. So that's good. It's the TLDP how-to, and then some good bash programming stuff. That's just, I think, a really good thing. All right, so we're going to publish this lab up. All we got to do to publish this lab is say new lab published. In our git commit, we'll pop this one up into our system, and then we'll come over here and we'll back out one, and then I'll send it over to you guys. You can test your lab on Killer Coda while still building them. Yeah, well, no, Robodom, I'm using a different lab. That's why it couldn't hit both servers, because I was using one that only had Ubuntu. I didn't have the control plane and the Node 01. Yeah, we're about to test it live, though. If anybody wants to do it, here we go. Doing it live. That's funny. All right, and then I should tell you guys, I should ask you guys this, because it's a small enough community that I think, is Fisherman still around? I need Fisherman to rule on this for me. So, but you guys can tell me if you think I'm a jerk after I tell you this story. This is one of those I was gonna go on Reddit and do the "Am I an asshole?" I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that, but I'm kind of torn on this one, if we're being honest. All right, let's let this run. It should say that the webhook just ran. Good. Go to our Linux labs. Variables, conditional and counting loops. So it'll be called conditional and counting loops. So make sure the lab comes. The lab's still building, so the lab will build for a few seconds. Fisherman, are you still around? If you are, I need your ruling. I'll trust everybody else to tell me whether or not they think I'm an asshole, but I need your ruling. If you're around. I don't think Robodom will tell me I'm a jerk, but I think you will. So, I was just kidding, Robodom. I mean, I think that Fisherman will be a lot more honest with me than you would. I think everybody else probably would have. Oh, Robodom, I'm about to tell you guys the context. So, I'm going to start everything I'm about to say with the question that you guys are going to be wondering as I start telling the story. Yeah, I think Fisherman would tell me, which is why I wanted to see if he was around. I'm going to start everything I'm about to say with a number. The number is 153 miles an hour. All right. now everything else is going to come from that. I had two different friends over the last couple days. They're actually friends from Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu community, guys that have kind of drifted off to other gyms and stuff, and they're doing stuff in other places. And they have both kind of wandered off, and they're doing other stuff. But they both knew this person, these two people, who passed away last weekend, and that's terrible. And both of them, and then they told these stories. Both of them kind of eulogized these people, and it's terrible what happened. But I'm not saying that's not true. But a couple of things about the way it was presented was this: they happened to get in the car with somebody who was drunk. They were themselves drunk. It sounds like that's unfortunate. But then they were street racing, which that doesn't make any sense to me. Like if I was street racing, which I couldn't even imagine me doing past my teens. If I were street racing, I would not want 300 more pounds of people in my car. Between the two of them, they were both smaller people, but let's say they had about 300 pounds. That's a lot of lost horsepower. I don't know if anybody here's ever raced, but that's a lot of lost horsepower to poundage ratio. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. The drunk guy who was driving with them while racing on the street in a Mustang, the cops lit them up and caught them doing that, and he decided to run. And the cops didn't even chase him. They just turned off their lights and stopped. And he lost control in a single car accident at 153 miles an hour in the city. And cut the car in half. And they both died instantly. Well, the woman made it to the hospital. That guy is fine. The guy who was driving is fine. The other, it's like the car got ripped off. And I'm just sitting here thinking, I know I'm going to be an asshole for saying this, but, or people are going to think I'm an asshole for saying this, but the way it's being presented by everybody, and there's a GoFundMe for the girl, which is, again, tragic she passed, but it says that she was tragically killed by a drunk driver, and it's not exactly like the whole story. That's like a lie by omission to me. So, Rodom, it's terrible. Two people died, and one guy survived who doesn't even like know them or care about them. But it's not like they were hit by some other drunk driver. They were in the car with the guy. I don't know. Unless you convince me that he kidnapped them, I don't know. Anyways, all right, I'll stop telling the story because, I sound like a jerk, but I honestly kind of think, I kind of think 153 fucking miles an hour? Like, what the hell? How are you doing that in the city? Anyways, all right, I'll calm down. 150 something miles an hour? 153? I could link you guys the story if you wanted to read it. It just happened this last weekend. And it's terrible. I'm not saying it's not terrible, guys. I'm just... There comes a point when it's like you kind of shouldn't have gotten the car. But anyways, all right. All right, I'll stop with that. Let's do the lab. If anybody wants to do the lab with me, we're looking for errors. We're looking for things that are wrong with it. And, I don't think Fishman's around because he would have told me I was a jerk already. But anyways, all right. You are a new sysadmin at your company. You've decided that you need to start using loops to increase your productivity and monitoring of the system. So we want to know... Rodon, I think it's absolutely crazy. But I don't understand, like, the way it's presented to people. Like, the way people are presenting it, it's like they're acting like some drunk driver hit them. No, they got in the car with the guy, and then he went 153 effing miles an hour. I'm just like... in a Mustang, which is like already, if anybody here's ever seen, there's like a whole meme online. There's a million of them of Mustang owners losing control of their cars, right? All right, so anyways, create a conditional loop to watch CPU every 5 seconds. Create a conditional loop to count to 10 with various different starting and ending numbers. Let's see if they do it. Definitely some context missing from the story. Well, their story is done. Nobody, like, people are telling those people's story. Those people are done as of that night. In fact, they all died that night, except the guy who was driving. The guy who was driving 153 and chose to run from the cops, probably thinking, I got warrants. He's fine. He's busted up a little bit. Hold on, let me see if I can find this. Hold on. Crash. Phoenix. See if I can find it. Yeah, here it is. Yeah. Yeah, the guy killed his 2 passengers. There you go. And the 2 passengers are the ones my friends are eulogizing, and I'm just like sitting there going, I don't, Anyways, you guys can read about that if you want. All right, so let's run this. While true do, uptime, sleep 5 done. All right, we're getting load averages. We're getting the load averages of the system. It's working. Go check on Ranger Dog. Ranger's downstairs. He's got the Christmas lights to keep him happy. Our system's looping. It's good. Yeah, Rob, it's strange to me. Like, there's got to be some culpability there. Nobody forced them. But anyways, all right. So you can stop this execution with Control C. That'll stop it. Good. Let's make a conditional loop where we control the condition by incrementing to a number, or by incrementing a number. So we'll set count to 0, condition to 0, and then we're going to run while our count is less than our condition, and it'll count from 0 to 9 for us. Now we come down here. What happened with the count? Did the count the way we expected? And we can go play with that, but we got to remember to set count to 0 again before we play with this. And then we can say less than or equal to condition. That's going to change the way that it behaves. There's all these things that are going to change the way that it behaves, but if you change 0 to 9 as a counting, that's 10 incrementation, or that's 10 increments. If you go from 0 to 10, that's 11 increments. Is that how many times you chose to count? Well, in the banking industry, one of those is going to get you fired. If you did one of those wrong in like a bank account scenario, and you paid somebody extra money, or you paid out a dividend that was incorrect, you're probably gonna be bad, right? You're probably gonna lose your job. Well, you're definitely gonna lose your job if you're coding, doing that kind of stuff, right? What are some things you notice about that? You know, look at that, think about it for a little bit. Let's jump on to the next part of the lab. All right, because we just went over this. Create counting loops to count over a list of numbers, generate a list in a file, read, whatever we're doing. Create a counting loop over a list of numbers or items, generate numbers programmatically and loop over them, and then read the contents of the file. All right, so can we do the first one? Yes, we can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Too easy. All right. Yeah, if I can get an extra dollar. Yeah, Robodom. That could be something that everybody remembers the Monopoly game, right? The bank dividend in your error. The bank makes a mistake and gives you like 20 extra bucks. All right. So here we can count over some things. We can set the variable. The variable name is just a name, but then we're counting over cookie, cake, pie, each iteration of the loop. Everything between do and done just loops, right? So I said, what do you notice about this type of thing? This is stuff we just went over. We're really just testing the lab. Then we do for I in sequence to 1,000. And I say, that's a bit much. I'm going to go ahead and hit Control C and stop. I'm confident that one will count all the way up. And then I say, can I make it count by 5s? Yes, I can. Then I might ask you, could you remove the sleep so that it just counts immediately? Yeah, I think I might be able to get away with that. What if I just took the sleep out of there? Bam. 1,000, real quick. All right, so good. Then I said, let's throw this into a file called fruit.txt. We can cat fruit.txt if we want. Okay. And then I say for item in cat fruit.txt. I'm reading item done. Oh, I didn't finish that. That's my fault. So let's push it real quick. Let's hit the E on the end. It's going to be busted. Doesn't matter if you do the E at that point. All right, let's go fix that one real quick. Anybody that's following along, we'll have to skip that one, but we at least have it right here. I just missed it at the end of the done right there. But now we'll go ahead and run it just so we can, for full completeness. Boom! I am reading, so that works. Also, I gotta push that code up now. So save this, Control S. It'll pop up right here as something to commit. And we'll say fixed error with done. I don't know. Commit. Push that up. Boom. It won't be fixed in this lab, but in the future iterations of the lab, it'll be fixed. And then I throw some stuff into root servers text, and then I run a loop over that, and I can get the host name and the uptime of those two nodes. Boom. So we did all that stuff. Got it all working. Said now that we've created some loops, can we make it happen in a file? So we're going to grab this file. I'm just going to grab it like this. Paste it over here. Boom. And then if I run this, let's see if this one works. Oh, did I not? Oh, I never executed the... Oh, guys. I don't know how I get anything done around here. Step 3. Get rid of this one. Step 3, text here. After we make that, let's create. Set the file to executable for root user and root group. That's going to be this. It's going to be plain, and then it's going to be chmod 750 on root file create.sh x, and then we'll say run execute the script, and execute the script. That's fine, and that will be just this. Oh, all right. Fixed. Missing commands. Right? And that should be boom, done. Sync the changes up. Alright. So now what we have to do in this one, chmod 750 on root, what did I call that one? File create.txt, and then we'll just run it root file create.sh. File. Nope, got an error. There's an error right here. I thought I fixed that. Oh, did that not? Sage server for I and sequence do that temp. Oh no, that's fine on the server. Server in cat that do sh done in there for that do done don't need the bin bash technically. Let's just see what happens. I wonder if these are just sometimes you get weird characters. 91 syntax unexpected token 2. Oh, hold on. Just real quick, just to make sure that there's nothing. What the hell? Shouldn't matter. Syntax error 2. There shouldn't be anything wrong with this. At least I don't see anything wrong with this. Paste it out here. Oh, jeez. Anybody know what it is? Gosh, man, I do some really dumb stuff sometimes. Wait, hold on, no. That's not it. I thought it was I didn't have the first done in there. No, I do have the first done in there. I don't know what it is. Is there... No, I have both the do's. For server do. Done. For I in sequence do. Done. I thought I didn't have that done. But I do. So now I'm confused. So I might have to work on this one a little bit. Echo that into root file create. Alright, let's clear the screen. rm-rf root file create. Get rid of it. Copy this over. Rebuild it from scratch. Cat root file create. Shouldn't be on the second line, so that's already part of it, but that shouldn't matter that much. Make sure that's still there. It is. That's there. It's on the first line. There shouldn't be any funky special characters at the end of these. That could be there from a Windows system. You don't actually need the indents. We could do this all on one line here. We have the do here. We have the done here for that. And then in here it's for I do done there. So this should work as well. This is all happening on the far server right here. Everything in between these quotes are happening on the far server. It's SSHing to the server. It's doing its execution. Let's see. Oh, we don't need a dot. If we're being explicit, we don't need a dot. Huh. I don't know why it's giving us that. What do we have here? Some kind of follow. Thanks for the follow. I for goose. Hopefully it's useful to you, even though we're just kind of spinning our wheels here right now. We don't, again, bin bash is just kind of a nicety. You don't really need it. And cat root to server. Yeah, I'm counting over the thing. All right, so here's what we do. This is my first thing that I do when I have anything like this. I'm going to comment this out, and I'm just going to say echo. Oops. Echo. I am working on $server. Right? Can I at least get the server part to work? And I'm working on control. So that part's going, right? So that part of it's going. Technically, we can do as many of these lines in here as we want. So now we're going to SSH to the server, and all we're going to do over there is, well, we just do this. We're just going to say echo. Actually, we'll just do a host name. Host name. And this, we will comment completely out for now, right? And we will just go, whoops, right here. That's it. And, oops. Can we run that? Boom, we can hit the two nodes, right? So we can get into the nodes. Now we got to bring this back in, right? So now we're going to bring this in, and here's our syntax. For I in sequence to 100, do touch a file, temp $i for the file inside each of these, and then done. So, oh, I can't, yeah, that's actually part of the problem. This does have to be single quotes here. because I need it to execute that over there without any knowledge of it on this side. So that's my fault. Yeah, here we go. This should work now. Now if we run this last one, it should show there's all the files. Okay, that was my fault, guys. So how did we need the single quotes here, but we also need the single quotes there, so I need to escape them. So let's test it. Let's test it to make sure that I'm doing it the right way here before I so on this, we are going to just execute this big long mess, but then I'm going to press up and I'm going to go back and fix these two areas right here. So I'm going to say that and that. Yep. Whoops, do and done. Echo that. Escaping those, so they should be fine. You know what? You can't go back up. So the problem was it was putting it in there before it went. So now we just have to figure out, well, this is the other way. We'll just assume you know how to use VI by this point. In the other labs, I guess you've probably touched enough VI. So I'm just going to say this. Create necessary script file, that's that. Use VI or the text editor of your choice to create this script. And then what did I do? Did I strip off the... So now we need the... Oh shit, guys, I have no idea. I have no idea what I just did there. Hold on. I grabbed the wrong... Damn it. I grabbed the wrong stuff. I messed everything up, guys. Alright, this script, not in bash. There. Now, in here, so this will just be copyable. You'll just be able to copy this. And this needs to be single quotes. And that needs to be single quotes. And then that doesn't need to be on it anymore. So you just grab that. What's this error showing me? I don't know. I don't know what that's actually showing me, but updated the lab. We'll update that and that'll be fine. Okay. All right. We'll go. We'll try it again. All right. So I'll run through the lab faster this time. But if anybody wants to follow the lab, it is up there, and give it a minute. It takes a while to kind of grab that and kind of redo it. But this is just another lab. It's called conditional and counting loops, and we're just going to run through it real quick and make sure that it builds kind of everything that we expect it to. Yeah, there's our labs. I think Robodom threw them up there. Then we do have a book on the labs, and then we also do have a Discord as well. Discord's free. You can check on Ranger Dog down there. See how Ranger Dog's doing. Conditional and counting loops. Let's do it. Let's give it a second here. Let me make sure I synced that up. Yeah, I did sync it up. By the way, while I'm sitting here, Robodom, you might like this. I got our ProLUG. I got our basic little web page up today. Where's that one at? It's this one. Yeah. Anyways, here. So I got our basic little tests up with Hugo. So I'll start building that in and use some nicer looking templates and stuff. And then once I get some nicer looking templates going, then I will start kind of tying that back to some of the more dynamic stuff. It's all static. It's a static page for now, and then we'll go from there, working on that stuff. All right, let's do our conditional counting loops. Let's make sure that we fixed all the little errors and stuff. Make sure that everything kind of works the way that we expected it to. All right, so the first part works. Boom, it's looping every 5 seconds. Good. People can think about that. We set a count to 0, set a condition to 10, and then we loop over that. That's fine. We ask some questions. We go to the second part of the lab. Boom. Count over some numbers, count over some desserts, count all the way up to a really high number if we wanted to. We can hit Control-C to stop it. Count that same number by 5s. Wouldn't take as long, but it will still take some time, so we stop that. Then we can echo into a file called fruit.txt, and then we can count over that by reading out whatever we're doing. Road Dom, it actually is on, it's not on my GitHub actually, it's on a code commit inside of AWS, and I can give you credentialed access if you want it, so you can pull it down and work on it. But let's talk about that. We'll talk about that on the Discord if that's okay. But yeah, I can definitely give you credentialed access to pull that down from the GitHub, and then you could push it up there and stuff with keys. Yeah, I can give you a user on there. We can write this in there, boom, so we wrote that, and then we can count over and do some looping over our servers, which it really becomes powerful. Once you get 2 servers in a file and you can hit a bunch of servers, that's when this starts to really become powerful. Hello there, I'm new. What's the main topic of this channel? This channel is all about, I wish that one thing would pop up. We've got kind of like our purpose, but if you go to our Discord, it'll tell you a little bit about it. But I would say the main purpose of this channel, me being here in general, is to tell you guys about the Professional Linux Users Group. That is a group of, I don't know, we're about 900 and some change engineers right now. And and the goal is to get people that are hobbyists and show them that they can be a professional in this. Like hobbyist Linux, like some of us have been doing it forever and it's fun, but you can also go do this professionally. I'm a professional in this space for the last 20 years. I've been training engineers on it. I've got 15 years of teaching this and networking in a college setting. So I think that there's a lot of stuff that's very valuable there. And then this is our stuff. Fisherman, you also stepped away for a little bit, because if you were around, Fisherman, you would have heard my story earlier, and you must have been away, so you missed the story. All I can say about the story, Fisherman, is 153 miles an hour. That's the main thing I got to say about it. All right, so we go here, check. We're good. You're going to be good in this lab all the time because it always tests true. But now let's see if we can execute a script over there. So it says to make your own. vi root file create.sh, right? You got to make that one. I hit I to go to insert mode. I grab all this tasty stuff, all the tasty data. That looks good. Escape :WQ. I'm going to make it executable. I'm going to execute it. And then I'm going to go look and see that it happened on both the servers. Yeah, Fisherman, so what I was saying is it's a tragic story, but I feel like a little bit of a jerk because I don't think it's as tragic as everybody around me does. All my friends are like, oh, this is, a couple of my jiu-jitsu friends that happen to know this couple, they were killed this weekend, and they were in a car with a drunk driver, and that's terrible. It's all terrible. Everything about this is terrible. But I just don't like the way that they're like eulogizing this, where the person was street racing in a Mustang with 2 people in the back, which I already think is stupid. Why would you race with extra weight in your car? Anybody here that's ever raced anything knows that every single pound in that car matters. And if you're going to race with 300 pounds of, and they were normal sized people, but between the 2 of them, they were probably 250 to 300 pounds between 2 of them. I wouldn't want that in my car. That is directly. That is a direct ratio that we try to drop off from horsepower, right? Horsepower to, we want to get our race car, like on drag racers, we want to be down to like 6 pounds every 1 horsepower, right? That's not. Anyways, my point is it's stupid. Then, as they were street racing, they got lit up by the cops. So this guy decided to run. The cops didn't even pursue. They didn't even chase him, and he crashed at 153 miles an hour and cut his car in half, killing those two people instantly. Well, the girl made it to the hospital, they said, but I mean, she was dead. He has survived with barely any scratches or anything, because he was on the other side of the car. Yeah, fisherman. So, but the way it's being presented, like there's a GoFundMe for it, and it's like, oh, they were tragically killed this weekend by a drunk driver, and I'm like, that's not what that means. Getting killed by a drunk driver means that like people were drunk driving and hit you, not that you got in a car with a drunk that went 153 fucking miles an hour in a city. All right, I'll calm down. All right. Anyways, the lab's done. I don't know. Maybe I'm an asshole. That was the whole question, fisherman. Was am I an asshole for saying? Because all I wanted to do on their post was say, man, that sucks that some drunk driver hit him at 153 miles an hour, and then they would have to say, well, they didn't get hit. They were actually thrown. They were both thrown from the car that got cut in half. So probably pieces of them. It was not good. The guy was dead on the scene, and the girl made it to the hospital. But typically, just because people aren't going to declare him dead themselves, they don't always do that. So, all right. Anyways, yeah. But 153, man, your vehicle's basically a bullet at that point. Not quite, but actually the mass is higher than a bullet hitting you. But the energy being transferred is much higher than like a bullet hitting you, especially since it would be hitting all of you. Anyways, you can go look up the physics equations on that for people that are interested in that kind of stuff. But all right, so we did all this, right? The lab is done. We're gonna call that done. Guys, I have a thing that I was gonna show you tonight, and I have Excel open to show you it because I thought that this was a fun problem. I got asked by my boss. We do one-on-ones each week, and some of you guys know I'm contracted out to different organizations, and this one, which is a big college in the Northwest, they needed me to basically like the cluster has grown the last few years, but they wanted me to take out like the project work. So take away project work, like stuff that I'm doing and other engineers are doing, and they wanted me to help quantify. So I had to go put some numbers together, some fixed costs, some variable costs. What operations of our cluster was based on like how many engineers we could justify on the cluster. And then if I could, as we grew, so if we go from 1,200 nodes in the supercompute cluster to 1,400 nodes, that raise of about like that would be like 17% raise or so, somewhere in there. Could I justify the additional just operational work? Yeah, Quartz. I just can't get over the 153 miles an hour. Like everything else, I was like, man, this is tragic. I think it's tragic, right? Like they're a young couple, they're dead. That's tragic. But I mean, they like the guy didn't kidnap him. Is my point. Now, if the guy kidnapped him with his Mustang, that's a little different because I'd never get kidnapped by a person in a Mustang. I'd be like, just shoot me on the street. I'm not getting in your damn Mustang. All right, anyways. But we were talking about how there's this whole society, there's this whole meme out there of like people leaving car shows and crashing their Mustangs. So if you guys don't know that, go feel free to look it up. Crashing Mustangs is like, I mean, if I saw a Mustang crash on the road, I wouldn't even blink an eye. I'd be like, that's just a Mustang for you. Which is funny because my wife loves Mustangs and she wants to get an old one of these days. Anyways, what I was going with that is I have this whole spreadsheet that I put together, and I was going to recreate it for you guys to show you guys. And you say, why did you do it in Excel? Well, the reason I did it in Excel was my boss needed it quick. I didn't have time to like mock this up in like Python or something. And two, I was just kind of spitballing. Like I was gonna cocktail math it in my notebook. You guys know what cocktail math is? Basically math that you can do on a cocktail napkin. I was gonna spitball it while we were in our little 30-minute like one-on-one meeting, but she just asked me. She's like, "Hey, can you throw this together real quick and get it back to me? Like I need it for tomorrow." And I said, "Yeah, I'll do it, and I'll give you basically everything's parameterized." One of the nice things about if you do use Excel, also if you have another tool, you can do. I can do this in Python too, but it would just take me a little while longer, and she would have to change the parameters herself. But here, I could just change the parameters, and then I could show how everything moved. And then I also did how many hours it was annually, monthly, weekly, and daily for all of the different operations of the thing. So I don't know if you guys want to see me do that. I'll do it tomorrow night if you guys want. I'll break down like the operations of a cluster. If you have 1,200 nodes, what are the approximate number of hours that your engineers are going to spend doing different things? I had on there answering tickets, hardware failures of servers, hardware failures of switches, which were represented by mean time between failure averages of them, and then I also had maintenance, end of life cycle maintenance of servers, which typically gets normalized to a 3 year cycle, and then also yeah, those were the four major things: answering tickets, like service request tickets. And then I had a 1.25% overhead for meetings, right? Because anytime you're an engineer, you got to go sit in meetings, right? That's kind of life. So I assumed that you were gonna just add an extra 25%, because on an average engineer's day, you're probably at least 2 hours of meetings. Now you're trying to duck those meetings and do other work during them, maybe, but you're also remembering that you do have them, right? So they are something you got to kind of think about. So yeah, all right. Well, I'll try not to talk about that other thing too much. But did you guys all see Ranger? Ranger's got his lights downstairs. I will leave the light on next time I stream. We turned it off down there because, look, Ranger's going to sleep day or night, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, Robodom, I'm a big fan of watching other stuff during slow meetings where I don't really have anything to do. I do intend to start cleaning up the ProLUG lab a little bit. And then, yeah, Robodom, I play a lot of Brotato while other people are talking in the meetings and stuff. Yeah, don't tell Salty. Hey, it's all as long as the work's getting done. Engineers need time to decompress. That's a big part of engineering. So, all right, here's what we're gonna do. We'll go find somebody to raid. Hopefully, there's somebody to raid out there in the world. Go to our little end of stream thing. I appreciate everybody coming by. Let's go see who's out there. Who can we raid? Who's on right now? We'll go. Let's see. Who is? Man, I haven't seen RWX Rob on in a long time. Hey, you guys talk to him? I haven't seen Rob on in a long time. Let's go hit up. We'll go hit up Running Man. He's doing stuff. He's a different genre, but we'll go right over to him. Make sure you guys pillage and then burn. Don't ever burn and then pillage. That's not how things work. So I will see you guys that want to come back by tomorrow night, and we'll break this stuff down. All right, take care.